Hello and welcome to Lost in Chronologically Lost, where in this episode, Echo carries, both figuratively and literally.
Yes, he does.
He is... I didn't have low expectations for how good Echo would be as a character, but he still exceeded my expectations because I just didn't realize he would be that good.
Yes. So where do we begin with these episodes?
Well, I had a few things I wanted to talk about just before we got started, which is just that I wanted to think about Juliet before I even watched the episodes. I wrote a few things down just because I'm still just wondering how does she join the cast? Like when our main characters eventually go to the others' base, do they try to save her? Does she try to escape the others on her own because she thinks maybe I can just live with these airplane people? It's just which one of those things is going to be? And as this episode went on, we started to see events go in a way that might be one of those, but that's definitely just a thing that's been on my mind.
Well, you will see that in later episodes.
Looking forward to it. Anyway, so yeah, episode 48 starts with Ana Lucia with her gun having some regrets.
Yeah, so Saeed fights Echo.
You know I'm not a revenge person, but when someone has just shot the woman you love, in the heat of the moment, taking out your gun, you know what? I get it. I found it satisfying.
Also for this, so this came right after, in the original version, seeing the flashbacks for what the tail section went through the whole time. So what do you think the flashbacks for then this part were?
I guess Ana Lucia shooting the guy who killed her baby?
Yep.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was connecting to that. But yeah, Ana Lucia, she picks up the gun and she just starts taking control, and I'm like, I get that you're scared, I get that you know that you fucked up and you are doing this because you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation, but come on, how are you being the Mrs. Authoritarian cop when you just fucking killed an innocent person?
Yeah, I mean, given everything, I mean, even earlier in her journey here, she was about to cut off an innocent guy's finger just because she was wrong.
Yeah, just because the guy wanted to take a shit alone. Everyone could tell she's getting unhinged. Like, when she fires a warning shot, Michael is like, are you crazy? And like, yeah, are you crazy? Echo refuses to tie Saeed up. And by the end of these couple episodes, I'm sympathizing with her a lot because in the end it was a mistake. But right now she is the villain.
Yeah, but going away from that to something that I know you said you hated, but I liked, which is this mini golf thing with Jack and Kate.
Look, when we're cutting between that and Ana Lucia and Saeed stuff that is really interesting and I really want to see where it goes, it's really hard for me to care about the golf. And for you, I'm guessing on rewatch, when you know what's going to happen, you could just relax and enjoy the golf.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, I'm fine with this golf thing. I know they're gonna come together and it's gonna be whatever. Like, what I really like about the golf is that it's showing the main section doing something together that's not in the hatch, which is what we're gonna get for a lot of this now.
That is very true. And also just Charlie is still being a bitch about the fact that Hurley is rich.
I think he believes them now, though.
Does he?
I don't know.
I thought he was being sarcastic.
I think it's the more that Hurley keeps being like, no, I really am worth that much, that he's starting to be like, oh, maybe he is worth that much money.
I don't know.
I mean, we have someone who can confirm it, who's just come back to camp in these episodes.
Him being rich doesn't have a lot of ways to come up during the plot on an island.
Well,
so there's it's kind of just fundamentally a background thing, because where is it even going to go? Anyway, even Libby is telling Ana Lucia they'll understand it's a mistake, and Ana Lucia is justifiably being very worried because they won't see it as a mistake. I killed one of them.
Yeah, and Echo, he's like, hey, I'm going to take Sawyer to the camp, to the doctor. And Anna's literally like, please don't leave, because she knows that once Echo leaves, it's over. She's done.
I kind of hated her during this episode just because what the fuck you killed Shannon, where it's really the writer's fault. But it's like, I enjoyed seeing, like, the gradual descent into despair with the desperation of knowing she has nothing. It was just engaging.
Yeah.
But yeah, Echo is carrying Sawyer.
So, Michael goes to talk to Saeed, and, he mentions that, the night right after we left, they took Walt. And, Saeed, he just kind of gives, like, a pained thing, which I think is him realizing that, Shannon literally saw Walt right after he got taken. Like, for some reason, she was able to know that he really was in danger that soon, and he didn't believe her.
And also, it just felt to me like Saeed is the first one who is going through the realization that, like, all of it was pointless. All they did was lose things. They didn't accomplish anything. And it's like he's already been through enough today, and now he's finding that out. Just another kick in the stomach.
Yeah. So then, back to Jack and Kate playing Flirty Golf when Echo just shows up in the jungle asking for the doctor.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, for me, I was just like, thank God something is happening. We get them going into the hatch, and I just like seeing the reactions to, like, this hatch is a thing, what the fuck? Where, like, we get more of it later, but I like that it has to be explained to him, and we get Echo seeing the Dharma logo, so he knows that's significant, and then we just get a bit where Locke and Echo kind of size each other up.
It's just a very awkward
they're like
kind of meeting, and
Yeah.
retroactively I will have more to say about this meeting in a later episode.
Well, it just felt to me like they're the badasses of each team, so we had to just have them sort of size each other up, and also the men of faith. Yeah. Bernard is like, what the fuck are we doing? I just want to see my wife. And Annalisa is like, I kept you alive. It's like, come on, you're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah, and then so Anna says, okay, just bring me supplies so I can live by myself, and then you can go.
That's a kind of fair thing, but it's also like, when she asked for ammo, I was like, wow, you really think they're going to give ammo to the person who just shot someone?
That's right. So Echo tells Locke that Shannon died, which is how, the rest of them will then know that Shannon has died.
He doesn't want them to, get the guns and fight Annalisa, which I had some thoughts about this. So, violence is not the solution, but when you're in the situation where you don't, like, when you're in the situation, like, once Michael gets there, all you know is that someone killed one of your people, then it is reasonable just like, we need to take guns. But then once Echo starts explaining more, then I'm like, okay, if you have Echo's information, and then yeah, don't take guns.
So Sawyer has, a pretty severe infection going on. We have
Bernard is just like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Bernard dishes Anna, Libby dishes Anna.
Michael gets back and finds Sun, which is like a great moment because she's just like, what the fuck, it's Michael, and he can't explain now, but he does assure her that Jin is okay.
So Jack is kind of demanding answers from Echo, who's just not saying anything.
I get Echo's not talking shtick, but sometimes you gotta say things.
Yeah, so Jack decides, hey, Kate, we're gonna go get the guns to go fight, and then Echo's like, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And he mentions Anna Lucia, which Jack remembers her from the bar.
Yeah, so for this entire episode, I forgot that they talked in the bar. I was thinking, does he know the name? Like, did he know someone named Anna Lucia was with his father? And then during the start of the next episode, I was just like, oh yeah, they met. Yeah, that's how he knows her.
Yeah, and it's even supposed to be, again, this whole thing is supposed to be like a moment, because in the bar, they joked about, oh, why don't we swap seats? And it's like, how different would each group's experiences have been if, the tail section had a doctor for a leader, and the main section had, an ex-cop as a leader.
People in the main section would have just died without him, and I don't know if there's much Jack could have done when they're just being directly attacked by others. And I think, honestly, in that situation, I think Jack would have just gotten taken and forced to do the surgery.
I think that, I don't know, because I think the whole paranoia thing with like Nathan and everything. I don't think Jack would have been that bad, but I think take a situation with the whole Locke and Boone thing. I think Anna is killing Locke after that. I mean, could you see it? I can see it.
I guess. I don't think Locke deserved it.
I mean, maybe not in the moment, but the way he talks about it afterwards makes him feel more deserving about it.
Anyway, Ana Lucia asks Saeed where he's from, and I actually really enjoyed this part of them, like, telling each other about their backstories.
They're both like, yeah, we both did some pretty bad shit, and yeah. She lets him go.
Like him, yeah. I mean, just Saeed just being like, maybe you're supposed to kill me, where it's like it's in part all of his guilt, but it's in part just the despair at losing Shannon, and then Ana Lucia wants him to kill her, and he's just like wouldn't accomplish anything, which is true. And also, doesn't she says they never found the guy who shot her, so she's lying. She's not being fully open about what she did.
Yeah, you can. I mean, again, this was happening with the whole flashback thing, so the audience knows.
But it's too difficult for her to say. It's Sawyer waking up, and then it basically... Oh yeah, we got Saeed seeing Shannon's corpse, which is heartbreaking. And then we just get the montage of, like, Sawyer wakes up, kind of-ish.
Yeah, we have Michael and Vincent reuniting, Bernard and Rose finally reuniting, Jin and
Yeah.
Sun finally reuniting.
I could have used scenes with dialogue for this instead of a montage. Because I want to see them talk about these things.
I guess. Then we have a pretty random scene with Paulo burying his nicotine gum.
Wait, is nicotine gum?
Yeah, his gum and the what they took from
The fucking treasure.
Yeah, no, but it's all together.
Okay.
Because if Nikki knew he had the nicotine gum was with the treasure, so she knows he has both, right?
I didn't even realize he had nicotine gum there.
Okay, yeah. Well, anyway, Locke says, "Oh, don't bury it here because you can't bury secrets. Nothing stays buried on this island," which is again awkward when they're about to go bury a person, because that person's gonna stay buried.
Yeah, it would be really weird if she didn't. I don't think Lost would go that crazy.
Right. So we see Sun and Jin, getting out of their tent in the morning.
They definitely had a time. They get Hurley's thumbs up, which frankly is better than sex.
Yeah. And then we see Paulo. So Paulo has gone to, again, this station. I don't know if they said the name of it, but this station that they're in is the Pearl Station, which means that what he and then subsequently Ben and Juliet did is went there, lifted up the plane, went into the thing, and then when they left, put the plane back. Both groups of people had to do this.
But wait. But Juliet and Ben talked about, like, who left this open? Tell somebody to, like, put a plank over it. Why would you need to put a plank over it if there's the plane there to put over it?
Oh, you're right. Anyway, okay. Well, I guess minor spoiler when the main crew eventually does find this place, because obviously they're gonna find this place. They lift up the plane and they're like, "Oh, it's right here."
Okay. Well, they didn't. Let's just accept that they didn't plan out the details. Anyway, I don't like this.
Nobody likes the scene.
Well, the thing is, this basically tells us, they want to get Jack to do the surgery, which I already knew would happen, so that's okay. And they're gonna get the people he cares about.
Well, they said they're gonna get Jack, Kate, and Sawyer, and they're gonna use Michael to get them.
Which is like, does Jack care about Sawyer that much?
Yeah, you'll see. It's all part. Ben has a master plan for this. That's
okay. Well, they're gonna get Michael anyway. I didn't like this because this was a spoiler. This was not an advantage of Chronologically Lost, because now for the entire thing with Michael later, I'm just thinking, okay, this is just a plan to get Michael to come so they can lure Jack there so they can do this. I didn't get any of the mystery of what was happening there.
Well, let me tell you, when that plot line actually does start happening, it's pretty obvious.
Well, Yeah, but this just felt pointless at this place.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jack is treating Sawyer. We have some love triangle nonsense. And then Kate sees the horse.
Yes, she sees the horse. Again, this
Is
whole thing of her seeing the horse, one, it isn't going to make sense. But two, at least I know in later episodes they will make fun of how nonsensical it is. I know eventually, I forget who it is. Some character will say that they saw something, and they'll be like, "Oh no, you're crazy." It's like, "Oh, so when I see this, I'm crazy." But Kate can see a magic horse, and she's fine. Like,
I'm gonna be real with you, dog. I don't give a shit about this
but
horse.
it's the horse that saved her when she.
But so? Isn't it just the same color?
That's literally the only explanation for it. Like, there's no.
Like, it's the horse that saved her. It doesn't... Okay, this whole time with the horse, I think this is not interesting, and it seems like there is no interesting way to explain the horse. Is that prediction correct? That,
They don't.
If there's more...
They don't explain it.
Okay, so they don't
This
even
is all you
explain it.
get.
And even if they did, there would be no interesting way to do it. Like, okay, the hatch has a lot of lame answers, but at least the mystery of the hatch was like an initially interesting mystery, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are, like, within the complete realms of possibility, there are interesting things that could come out of the hatch that the writers may or may not go for. There is nothing interesting to do with this horse. What the hell were they thinking?
They're thinking that it's, ooh, spooky, it's the same horse.
Either the horse physically got here, which is just going to be some, oh, Dharma found the horse through circumstances and brought it here for some reason, or it's a magic horse where frankly a magic horse is really a really lame idea, and where it's like, the more you explain about the magic horse, the less I care. And I already don't care.
Anyway, so they're setting up for the whole funeral, and so Kate's not going because she's going to watch Sawyer, and Anna's not going because obviously,
Yeah.
I guess what she could
go
pull a
to
lock and show up halfway through and give some awkward explanation as to what happened.
You just don't go to the funeral of the person you killed. You just don't.
Right. So Kate's talking to like an unconscious Sawyer, who then grabs her and says, "Why did you kill me?" Which, okay.
Let's move on a bit, and then I'll have things to say about that
Right,
soon.
so obviously after this, Kate does what Kate does, which is that she ran away. And then so Locke barely pushes the button in time, which everyone who's watching this in real time is just dying to know what happens when it runs out, so they're quite mad.
Yeah. Jack finds Kate. Also, where the hell is Desmond? Anyway, Jack finds Kate, and it's just like, what the hell is going on? She freaks out, he grabs her, and they kiss, and then it's obviously unhealthy, and at least she recognized that and tries to walk away.
Okay, but all of her relationships are unhealthy, though. Let's be real about that.
The thing is, I think the actress does a really good job of portraying somebody who's having a breakdown.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, she does such a good job, and I wish I could appreciate that performance more, but this whole time I'm just like, Kate, come on. It's just a horse. It's not even a vision of Walt.
It's not just the horse. It's everything.
It's not even a vision of your dead dad. Lots of people have been having visions. Lots of crazy stuff have been happening. It's not... come on. It's like a lot... Okay, Shannon did have kind of a breakdown, but Shannon went and did something about it. People have been through similar stuff here and haven't reacted like this.
I guess, but they're not Kate, so...
Yeah, I just found it a little annoying to watch, as good as the performance was.
I guess. I mean, you know, like when
Jack
Jack saw his dad, he kind of just sat down alone by himself and cried for a bit. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's still fundamentally just maybe I would care if the horse wasn't so lame.
Right. So, and obviously this whole flashback thing was
it's
Kate
basically
killing
like
her dad. So
yeah. I mean, it's basically like you've talked a lot about how you don't like J.J. Abrams' style because he makes the box. He's like, wouldn't you want to know what's in the box? And then he never shows what's in the box. But at least the box is supposed to be an interesting box. And this is not an interesting box. So I don't even care that he never shows what's inside of it.
and then we have A very rewarding scene, which is Jin finally gets his handcuff off.
Good for him.
Michael notices that there's blast doors in the hatch, which is just like, I mean, you've seen when Desmond, triggered the whatever system it was to bring down the doors.
We got a bit out of order. This happened before the Jack and Kate scene. That's my bad. I think I skipped ahead. But yeah, Michael is just questioning things about the hatch, and I like to just... The people who didn't know about the hatch are having justifiable questions.
Right. So then they watch the movie.
Yeah.
So then there's a scene where it's us watching Locke, watching Michael and Echo watch the movie.
Yeah. Echo is great here too, just because, like, while Ana Lucia is busy feeling guilty and moping, Echo is the one interacting with, like, holy shit, there's a hatch here, what the hell is going on? And, like, just the parts that are maybe interesting to, like, see move forward. So then...
Kate is, at sort of the gravesite, and, she asks Saeed, do you believe in ghosts and everything? And he says, I saw Walt in the jungle there, so maybe I'm crazy. Like...
And then Michael wants to look at the computer, and Echo wants to talk about things with Locke.
Yeah, he gives some religious lecture, and then he has the missing parts of the movie.
I don't think they were really that much.
No, not really.
No, it wasn't some big secret. I mean, it basically was just the don't use this to communicate with the outside world to sort of tie into what happens with Michael, but it's not really a reveal or anything.
Right, especially since we already know that it's the other's plan to get Michael to do these things. And
it's like, why the hell Radzinski even cut that out?
Yeah, it's... Again, they didn't think this through.
It's a Radzinski moment, okay?
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. So, we get Jack chopping wood at the start of the next episode, which, by the way, so episode 48 of Chronologically Lost, which we just finished talking about, it was a good episode. Mostly the first part, Echo, Ana Lucia, Saeed, but that was a good episode.
Yeah.
So then, Jack chopping wood, start of episode 49, and Hurley is like, hey, so Rose's husband is white.
Yeah, who saw that one coming? So then we have Kate watching Sawyer again, and she thinks she's, like, talking to her dead dad.
Yeah,
this is okay. Also... I have to say here, she says, every time I look at you, I see my abusive father. Yeah. And I'm just Kate, that should be a sign to not be with this person.
I'm sorry, but I think that Kate is having a breakdown and saying some things that aren't really generally true, because if she sees her abusive father every time she sees Sawyer, why the hell does she act the way she does towards Sawyer?
Kate, just, certified Kate moment right here.
Yeah, but, I'll give some credit, another piece of credit where it's due, and say, this is the writers being whack.
Yeah, and it does actually give more context as to why she killed her dad, because she said, once she learned that, he actually was her biological dad, that she felt that, she could literally never get away from him, and that she would never be good.
Yeah.
Which, I get that. I get that, yeah.
That's sad. Like, I wish it was in a little better of a better written scene, because the way she just talks to Sawyer is like, yeah, that's a sign, and that also just doesn't seem like how you feel towards Sawyer. And also, I don't think Sawyer and Wayne are that similar. I don't know. Are they?
No, but I mean, in certain ways, yes. In certain ways, no.
I guess I see it in terms of when your abusive father is that in your head, you're gonna see him in places when there is some similarity.
So then we have Locke and Echo putting the film together, and Echo does the whole "don't mistake coincidence for fate."
Yeah. Oh wait! Don't forget, we get Sawyer waking up and being like, "Am I in a bunk bed?" And he thinks he's saved.
Oh, Sawyer, nah, it's only season 2, Sawyer. They're not gonna let you off that easy.
Which I think it is. As much as Sawyer is Sawyer, it's a little sad to see him being like, "Oh, come on, this is totally real." And then Kate just takes him out and he sees the jungle and is like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, and then they both see the horse, and Kate literally touches it, so it's not some mind illusion thing. It's literally right there.
But so is this going to be the last horse scene?
I think so. I don't remember it ever coming up again. Probably because it was too expensive to rent the horse for another episode.
You know, we should have said at the start of this recording, not that this is the episode where Echo carries, but this is the episode where we see that Kate is a goddamn horse girl.
Yeah.
Jack goes to... This is why I remembered that Jack and Ana Lucia met, because he brings her the alcohol, and I'm like, oh yeah, they talked about drinking, they drank together.
Yeah. Then we see that the other part of the movie just says, hey, don't message on the computer, followed by Michael messaging on the computer.
Yeah, which, to be fair, he doesn't know. But, so this whole messaging on the computer setup feels really weird to me, because why do the messages just come through on the terminal? There's no, program or, it just comes through with no other context on the terminal. I don't think that's how messaging with computers works even back then. And it's so weird. It's so weird to think of a hypothetical of, would Walt really have random access to a computer that he would and a computer that somehow has a direct message line to the Swan where Michael happens to be, and they let him do that, but not for long? I would almost find it more believable that Walt was just psychically connecting to the computer, although that would also be stupid as fuck. But basically, it makes no sense at all until you remember this is probably just the others baiting him.
And the others, they have the cameras that are watching them, as we saw in the Pearl.
Yeah.
So they know when Michael's there to message.
It works as a plotline because it does make sense. I just, if it was Walt, it would be really silly on multiple levels to me.
So then we have Claire talking to Echo when she mentions, Aaron's name, and he gives the whole, Aaron was the brother of Moses.
Yeah, which he spoke for Moses, which is true, and I wonder if that's something they're going to tie in. I don't think they're going to tie that in because I don't think the show is going to go on far enough for Aaron to be able to talk.
I do like Claire's response to that being like, oh, that must have been a lot to live up to. Why can't you be more like your brother Moses?
Yeah. Aaron was important. Anyway, she mentions the Virgin Mary statue, and this is an interesting plot line.
Right. So, what do you think the flashbacks for this were?
Oh, I wonder what could it possibly be?
Yeah.
What would tie into this? What would not have made sense to have been shown before this, but we wouldn't understand this episode without?
So yeah, it's Echo as a drug dealer.
Yeah, with his brother dying.
Yes. So he shows her that there's heroin in the statue. Then we have Locke, who is resetting the safe combo because that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, it is smart. It doesn't go well, but it's smart. And then Charlie is pestering Jin about if he likes his music, and Jin just wants to fish, man. He just wants to fish. So luckily, Echo is here to just make Charlie do shit for him.
Yeah, and so, Claire is, mad at Charlie, obviously.
He just says he didn't know, and he spills it onto the sand. It's like, see, I don't need it. And it's like, yeah, because there's a lot more.
Yeah, and also, it's, as Echo points out, he said, you said, I don't want her to get the wrong idea, which means you knew what was inside of there.
Oh, yeah. I love how smart Echo is. He is just great on several levels.
Right. Oh, also, just there's a minor scene where we have Michael learning to shoot by shooting a ranch dressing.
Yeah.
Which,
thing. You know what? Regardless of whether or not Michael ends up making good decisions, it is good that he practiced how to shoot.
Well, okay.
I mean, it doesn't get a chance to use it, but still, better than not knowing how.
So, Echo and Charlie arguing, that gets interrupted by the smoke monster. And
it's kind of the smoke monster really just feels like it appears at random points and randomly chooses whether it's going to try and kill someone.
It shows up when the writers need something interesting to happen in the jungle.
Yep.
Something interesting to happen in the jungle that's not a boar running into someone.
Yeah. Or just, someone falling over.
Falling out. Yeah, three things happen in that
Sometimes-
jungle: falling over, getting hit by a boar, and the smoke monster. That's all that happens.
There's also running into Danielle's traps.
Oh right, of course, I forgot. They really, I like how they really set themselves up with so many random things that happen in the jungle, and yet the one they use the most is falling over.
We also get Kate cutting Sawyer's hair because, of course, right after she says that she sees her abusive father in him, she's super nice to him.
Certified Kate moments.
Yep. And Charlie wants to take a break on the hike, which is relatable. You gotta take breaks on hikes. And he just wants to, say, I'm a good person. I was an altar boy. It's coming off as very desperate in that.
Yeah, and they find the drug smuggler's, body.
Yeah, the gold tooth is, I'm assuming, something Echo recognizes, even though I don't remember at all.
Yeah, then he makes Charlie climb a tree, and then the smoke monster does his whole kind of, scanning thing to Echo, which is kind of similar to what we saw him doing to Richard Alpert way back.
When I see it, I'm like, okay, smoke monster, you could just kill him if you want, but whether you want to kill people seems totally arbitrary.
I mean, on the one hand, it is arbitrary. There are, again, there's more explanations that will happen later with the smoke monster and the Man in Black and what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it will. I will say it will add up to about 85% making sense.
You know what? If the Man in Black actually got off the island into the rest of the world, what would he do?
I'm not sure, but
I think he would get bored and come back to the island.
oh, I don't think so. Then we have Michael trying to talk to Walt again, and then Jack comes in and promises he's like, "Hey, we'll rest up and then we'll go get Walt." So
yeah, which is good of Jack and Michael. Kind of make some whack decisions. And they build up this tension of is Jack gonna see the messages from Walt on the computer? But then when he looks, they're just gone, so whatever.
Yeah, and then we have a webisode here where Juliet is like...
Webisode?
Hey. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's why it was so low quality.
Yeah,
visually.
Juliet saying everyone is scared of Walt, and, there's a bunch of dead birds by his window.
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be that scared from dead birds. I mean,
I don't think that's the only thing they're scared of, but...
Okay, well, she starts it being he did it again, and I'm like, did what?
Yeah, see, this is kind of to also explain something that will happen later.
Okay.
This is hey, remember when we said this? Well, now we're going to show you this in a webisode.
Okay. Well, anyway, Ben's justification is that Jacob wanted him here, which it does seem like a Jacob thing since Walt is so special.
Yes. Well, we do know that Jacob is the one who brings people to the island, so...
We make it to the plane, Echo finds Yemi and just hugs him, cries. Pretty fucked up. I think it would probably hit me harder if, we actually got... Just, if I actually watched it with the flashback so it was more immediate, because I was pretty interested in, him wanting to find Yemi, and then once he found it, it was just yeah, it's good. It's definitely good, but I didn't, cry at it.
Yeah, so then they burn the plane, and he says he really is a priest, and then they have a whole montage of the tail section, being friends with the main section. And then Claire kicks Charlie out, which, honestly, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have taken the statue, Charlie.
And
it's still stupid
and then
that
he
you
shows
did.
that he did not take just one statue, he took several that he's hiding.
He's got a stash, and that's why he was happy to get rid of the one heroine. It's come on, dude. You're not even using it. If you were using it, I would get being addicted, but you're just being stupid.
So then we have a whole scene where Michael is like, hey, I need to borrow a gun, and then just knocks out Locke.
And then he ends up pointing the gun at Jack, and it's just he just insists, I'm gonna get him, and I'm gonna do it myself. None of you help me. And okay, I don't know what it's like to be a father. I don't know what it's like to have the pressure on you to be a good father, and Like, am I, like, maybe he's thinking, like, am I not good enough as a father if I can't get him back myself? But come on, dude, just let them help you. You have nothing to lose by letting them help. You only increase the odds of getting him back.
Any idea what the flashbacks were for this one? You're not gonna guess.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It was Jack doing the surgery on the old Italian man and then his wife leaving him.
This wasn't really a Jack episode.
Yeah. I think the issue of this is some of the other scenes on the island you're seeing are flashbacks. Because they started doing things where they would flashback to just different things that happened on the island. And that's some of the stuff you're seeing. And that stuff was obviously Michael focused. It's like, here's what Michael was doing while this was happening. So it's like,
yeah,
you're getting more Michael than you would have originally.
So I wasn't supposed to see Michael, like, actually confronting them yet.
No, it's a weird thing where the actual episode shows up where it's Jack going into the hatch and being held up by Michael, and Michael's like, I have to go do this, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, a flashback shows him knocking out Locke. And it's like, well, we can kind of... it's like, we could have assumed that happened, considering.
Yeah.
But then, like, during the chase through the jungle, we don't see Michael's perspective.
I don't know, I mean, I think that wasn't a bad flashback. I mean, I feel like that flashback has a lot to say about Jack deciding he needs to try and save people, and him prioritizing that so hard that, he loses his relationship. That has stuff to say, so I feel like it would tie into a Jack episode was saying similar things.
Yeah. Anyway, so Jack and Locke are locked in the safe, and they're like, okay, well, we'll climb. I'll lift you to the air duct, and you can climb through. And Locke's like, yeah, I bolted the air duct specifically so someone couldn't climb through.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, that's a very smart idea, John. Yeah, in theory, that's a smart idea, but, not working out so well.
Yeah, I mean, just should make it so you can open it from the inside. The door, I mean.
Yeah, but luckily, Kate takes Sawyer to get their bandages changed, so they get Jack and Locke out. And
they're all gonna go and try and get him, and except Kate, because Jack has to be disrespecting Kate on some level.
He does this every time. They're like, "Kate, let's go," and Kate's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go with you." And Jack goes, "No, Kate, you can't go with us." And then Kate will just go after them anyways. When you're gonna learn, you can't tell Kate what to do, Jack. She's just gonna follow you. Yeah. So. And then we have a scene where Sun makes Jin wear a fisherman hat.
She doesn't want Jin to go to help find Michael, and I get it because Sun and Jin's relationship is important, and she can't lose him.
And he just got back.
What? That's true, but Jin's friendship with Michael is really good, and I would have liked to see
but
him
they
there
bring
to go
up
save him.
he says Michael's my friend, and she goes, "But I'm your wife," so he stays.
Yeah, but friendship is still really important.
Yeah. Anyway, Locke eventually says, like, we should just let Michael do it because.
No, because it's not gonna work. He's one man going up against who knows how many people that probably have guns too, definitely outnumber him, probably doesn't have enough bullets for. It's not gonna work. When you literally have no idea what you're getting into, like I think it doesn't. I think it has no chance of working because I know what he's getting into. But even when, like, if you have no idea what you're getting into, why would you assume you could handle it as one person?
Yeah. Anyways, then Locke asks Sawyer why he chose that name.
But it's, of course, split screen. What was the point of... I wasn't able to follow it perfectly because of split screen, but what was the point of him asking about his name?
I don't remember.
I feel like this wasn't... Like, I feel like there are episodes where that would be an interesting thing to ask about that are Sawyer-focused, but this wasn't one of them.
Right, so Michael gets taken by the others who got Kate too, which I'm just saying, this wouldn't have happened, Jack, if you just let her come with the main group.
Yeah, we don't even see them getting Kate, but... We have to acknowledge that Michael sees one of them pissing and gets distracted while the other comes from behind him. And it's just like, yeah, of course he was going to get captured. Are we running straight towards the Jack gets forced to do surgery? Or is it going to, like, have other stuff happen and then that still happens later?
Well, it's season 2, so they're still dragging things out.
Yeah. Because it seems like the surgery could happen within a couple episodes now. But I feel like we're in the middle of the season, right?
Yes, and also
So
just
like,
you know, again, there was a video I posted by Drew Gooden recently, just talking about Lost, usually pretty casually. But one of the things he says is that ABC wanted the show to run 10 seasons, and this show's already like one season too long, if we're being honest. So
yeah.
I couldn't imagine dragging things out even further like that. That would just be insane.
Is the one season too long? Like season 2 and 3 should have been one season.
I think you could cut out one season's worth of content from seasons 1, 2, and 3 combined.
I feel like season 1 you could definitely cut stuff, but I feel like season 1 made more sense just because being slow was at least like in its style, where like before you even know anything about the more crazy island stuff, it's okay for season 1 to just try to be a slow show about them surviving.
Well, I also just think you can cut out so many things. Season 2 here,
Yeah.
it's gonna spin its
then-
wheels
well,
for
I
a
feel
while,
like-
which is gonna be lame.
Yeah.
And
Well, I feel like season 2 just feels like this is the point where like we know things should be getting crazier, but then a lot of it doesn't matter.
yeah, and season season 3, season 3 you can cut out a lot because
Because I know
the
that
on island stuff
episode,
you'll see when we get there.
I
But
know that I know that the Thailand episode happens, and I know that's relatively characteristic of season 3.
yeah,
because
we
you've
didn't
talked
need
about
Thailand.
how
We didn't need Kate getting married. We didn't need. I mean, I guess Saeed being captured in Paris was interesting, but like we didn't need that.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just saying
we
like,
definitely didn't need
just
the weed
as-
farm. Like,
Yeah, it just seems like as we've talked about, season 3, the Thailand stuff happened because they were really trying to think of whatever they could to pad out time because they didn't
and this was
and that was what justified
the era of
them
television
getting
where
a
you
season
make
count.
24 full season episodes, even if you don't have the content to cover it. You make that many episodes because that's just what you do.
Thank fuck for modern shows having 10 episode seasons. I mean, a full 24 episode season can be good. I have just seen there are some good shows that definitely only needed to be 10.
I think I can go
Like
either way
full
because I
season.
think, like one of my favorite shows, The Good Place, only has 12 or 13 episodes per season, and it's amazing. But then you look at, say The Office. The Office has one season where it has 28 episodes. And honestly, it's the best season. Like, it had enough content to cover it.
The Office. Well, The Office is a comedy, so it's you don't need to fill time as long as you can think of funny episodes. Then you can do it as much as you can. Whereas, like a plot-driven show, you can't just inject more plot and expect it to flow.
It's complicated. But then you see, some
Anyway,
Japanese
so
shows that have
we got
hundreds
this-
of episodes, and they just somehow keep going.
Well, some of those have the worst pacing because of that. When their pacing could have been a lot better.
Well, it depends. It depends on the show.
Do we even want to? Okay. You know what? Now I need to make the comparison because all those shitty season 3 flashbacks are literally the anime equivalent of filler arcs.
Oh, absolutely. They're
like to the point where like it's like within an anime's canon, the filler arcs are technically canon and they'll tie them in a bit, but the real story, they're not canon. And I feel like you could basically treat those shitty flashbacks that way. You could just treat them as not canon and it works.
Anyways, I think that's it for these episodes, unless you have anything else to say.
Well, I guess I kind of got so distracted with that I forgot to kind of finish my thought, which is just, it seems like we could get Jack doing the surgery within a couple of episodes, and I don't see a way they could somehow delay that and prevent that from happening yet. And that scares me about how they'll find a way.
Yeah, it's really weird to think that Ben would have this, huge spinal cancer that he needs removed, and yet he wouldn't really act on the kidnapping thing right away. Seems like maybe that plot line was concocted later, and that his previous actions won't make as much sense, because why would he be delaying getting his life-saving surgery?
It seems like... I mean, it just seems like literally in terms of the raw plot, they have the leverage to demand Jack come. They should do it. So it's like, what are they going to do? Are they just going to tell Jack to go home and say, we're not giving you Michael or Kate back? Are they going to give Michael or Kate back? I don't see a way out of that, out of the plot line that makes sense.
Listen, the issue is also that Season 2 is the season that is most plagued by real-world actor issues. I would say, you could argue Season 3, but I would say Season 2 is. And
any examples that I've seen yet?
Well, you know how you've only seen Walt in little quick glimpses in Shannon's visions?
Is he already too old?
Pretty much. Which is why this requires knowing the knowledge of the credits, but he's no longer a main cast member. He only is now a guest star in episodes where he appears.
Wow. I expected, like, Walt is too old to come up maybe, like, Season 3 or 4, not Season 2. God.
Yeah, they said, in some interview, this was near when the finale was airing, and they're like, oh, why isn't Walt gonna be in, like, Season 6 and everything? And they're like, well, the issue with that is that the actor is now, like, 37 years old. And they're like, no, when we were filming Season 1, this kid was having huge growth spurts, and we're like, we need to get him on the RAF stat. Like, get him out of here.
And it just, I mean, we've talked about this more than once. Yeah, they have to just find a way to write him out and stop using it, but it's just like, it's like, he is played up to be so important and magical that I'm still just like even knowing that they just have to find some random way to get rid of him, I'm still just wondering how the hell are they going to resolve any of it when like what are they going to come up with to get rid of him and make it feel remotely satisfying, considering how important he was played up to be.
Oh, honestly, it's cute that you think it will be remotely satisfying.
If I was them,
it's not going to be satisfying at all.
If I was them, I would have used the time travel plot at some point to send Walt back in time, so that he was living on the island for years, and that's why he's an adult now.
I will say they do use Kate, because you know how in the time travel segment they landed in 1974 and stayed there until 77, right? Mm-hmm. And it was also 3 years for the people, for Jack, Kate, Saeed, who left the island, right?
Yeah. So
they do use that to be able to shoehorn the actor in, to be like, oh, because it's 3 years later, so it can make more sense why he looks, older.
So we do see him, but then we just not get him during Season 6?
I believe
he just doesn't come.
Other than Season 6, I believe he makes at least one appearance in every season.
Huh.
And even Season 6 is, because there's bonus content that is canon, that it wasn't shown on TV, but it's...
So we'll
see it in Chronologically
Lost.
That okay. He's in it.
Honestly, like, you've talked about how bad Season 2 is because it spins its wheels and the hatch isn't interesting. And I felt some of that. There have been some slow parts and the hatch really isn't that interesting. But if it's about to draw things out with why would they just not take Jack now?
Yeah, we're gonna get several episodes of that.
I'm gonna start really feeling it.
Yeah, you are.
In the way that you talked about. Oh my god. Well, I mean, several episodes in terms of lost episodes, not chronologically lost episodes, right?
I don't recall, but I
Alright, well, because I think we're in a ballpark of, like, a chronologically lost episode will cover, like, 2 lost episodes, right?
It typically covers 1.5. Usually in the 2 that we watch, we get 3 episodes covered.
Okay, we get 3.
Again,
I guess
this depends on the thing, because like we got less covered here, but that's because they also had a webisode to shove in, and they also had on-island flashbacks to shove in, like several of those. So
I mean, this felt like, I guess it was 3 episodes, yeah. But it felt kind of like 4 to me.
Yeah, it went pretty.
But these 2 were long episodes.
Yeah, and again, I will say with Chronologically Lost, at least when the on-island plot is spinning its wheels, it's still going faster because it's not being interrupted by flashbacks.
Yeah.
So, but I think that is it for these episodes. So I hope you'll join us next time, where we will be crossing the halfway mark of this series. with episodes 50 November
Yeah,
12th
it-
to 15th and 51 November 17th to 18th.